Hello, I want to thank you for coming to our cybersecurity webinar today. We're going to be talking about just different ways that you can help to protect your identity. So as many of you know, there's a couple of new faces and lots of familiar folks that are on the webinar. So I want to thank you for your time. And while I am not a cybersecurity expert, I do spend a lot of time on cybersecurity because I have to keep your information protected and safe and my own information protected and safe. So something that we do, do a lot of work on and have folks that help us with that. So if anyone has any questions, please click on the chat, on the toolbar, click on the chat or the Q&A. And at the end of the presentation, I will go through and I will answer any questions you guys may have. Also, feel free to reach out via phone or email. Either way is great. Okay, so let's get started. So 2 seconds, every 2 seconds, someone is a victim of identity theft. 14 million people last year had their identity stolen. So it's a huge, huge, huge problem. And when we think about it, almost every week, there is another security breach. Facebook actually had one pretty recently as well, but Marriott, 500 million folks got their information taken. Equifax, which is a huge one, 143 million, that was a few years ago. And then also a lot of Yahoo got hacked quite a few times. So we'll talk about that going forward. But what we have to assume is that with all the hacks there are, and there's a huge one from Target and other places, that our information probably is out there in the ether somewhere. And we want to make sure that we protect that going forward as much as possible. So there's been a lot of books written on this challenge, but basically, there are people day in and day out, 24/7, that are criminals that are trying to get our information, and we need to be as protected as possible. And what's tough is that, sometimes we have technology and maybe we're not keeping up with it, but the criminals are way ahead. They keep learning and doing more. So not that we need to be scared, but it's great if we can take some steps to help ourselves so that we don't become victims of identity theft, or it makes it way harder for people to steal our information and get into our personal things, accounts and things. So what I'm going to do is just go through and talk about, I sent a worksheet to you guys, like a reference card. I'm going to go over that, but we just want to take a look at those different things on there. We'll have some questions. We want to learn about the new cybersecurity rules, and we basically have about 11 different points that you can take a look at to help your situation. And then there's some ideas where you can take some action as well. So first part is discover your score. So I sent a worksheet that looks like this. You guys will be able to see, and these questions are right here, and you'll be able to score yourself. And then we'll talk about the action steps as we kind of work through this workshop. So what we're going to do is mark a yes or no. I'm going to read the question, and then I'll wait a little bit so you guys can think about it and answer, and then we'll move on from there. So the first question is, I have one email address that I use exclusively for my online financial accounts. Okay, so for nothing else except for finances. The second question is, you have two-step verification or authentication for email and financial accounts. Okay, so do you have that going, or you get a code and you have to put that in order to access your accounts? You can spot the difference between dangerous, really free Wi-Fi and then encrypted Wi-Fi. Okay, so when you're out doing things and looking stuff up, you know which one to use. Do you know which one to use? And then your home Wi-Fi. I understand how to tell if my home Wi-Fi network is vulnerable to hackers and how to boost the network security. Next, whenever any money leaves my bank accounts or my credit cards are charged, I'm alerted to the transactions. I have a complete control over my credit files at the big three bureaus, Equifax, Experian, and TransUnion, because I have placed them on the highest security level. I've confirmed with the credit bureaus that my minor children have not been the victims of identity theft and frozen their credit files. I run an updated antivirus software program on my computers and devices. I always make sure that my computer and devices have the most up-to-date software programs, including operating systems, browsers, Microsoft Office, iTunes Player, virus protection, wireless router, and Adobe programs. I have a system for ensuring that I can recover from a ransomware phishing attack without paying an extortion fee to a criminal. And then take all those and then just give yourself 5 points for yes for anyone that you answered yes to. And there's some scores here if you want to take a look. But we're going to go through each one of these and just see how you can improve what you have. And all of us, can make improvements along the way with security for sure, because it's changing all the time. So now we're going to talk about the new cybersecurity rules. So there's really 3 different mindsets, and we're going to run through each of these. One is secrecy, then omniscience, and mindfulness. Okay, and they really make up the whole part of cybersecurity. So we take a look at adopting a new level of secrecy that can really boost your security and your cyber confidence. Okay, so it's interesting. In how, we do so much online now that I generally put all my information in that's fairly accurate, but there is something to be said for having different things out there that can't be matched up. Of course, not for financial accounts and things like that, but maybe for magazine subscriptions, things that don't matter as much, where you can really be attacked. But one thing is creating a secret email address for your financial accounts. Okay, so if anybody wants to update your financial email address for LPL, just let me know. We can get that set up online. But really just using a different email for all of your most sensitive accounts. Okay, so we don't want to use first name, last name, initials, or any other like identifying information. And you want to have a strong and unique password. So it's interesting. I heard a story. There's a gentleman who's a security expert, and he actually said to his friend, he said, "Hey, I'll bet you that in an hour I can hack into your financial accounts." So she took him up on the offer, and he went in and he did a Google search of her name. He found a resume online. He saw her college email account, which was still active, and information from this resume. He was able to hack into her college email account. Then from there, he knew her other email address. The email address is really the key to everything. And when he got her regular email address reset, he reset the password by using her college email address. And he knew all the secret information because it was in her resume and online. And then he was able to hack into her bank account. Okay, so for people that know what they're doing, this can, they can do it very, very quickly. So we want to make sure that we have strong passwords. So you can use a mnemonic password. So Jack and Jill went up the hill. So you take the first letter of each of those words, and then you put in, there's actually on that card that I sent, there's actually a way down here for conversion. So would be @4422. And this does make it a lot more difficult for folks to hack in when you have that kind of a password. Okay, so that's one way to do it. You could also do like a goal setting password. So, run every day, or, you want to lose weight, which is a constant battle, or, whatever it might be, you can have a goal. And as your goals change, you can also update your password. The diceware method is really pretty neat. If you Google diceware, you actually roll a die 5 times and get those numbers and put it in. And then you do that 4 times. And when you put in those random numbers, it will give you different random words that you can use as a password. And that one is super hard to hack. If you use like password or 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 or weak passwords, a criminal can go through like 1,000 passwords and hack them if they're easy in like 17 minutes. So make sure that your passwords are really good. And then I also use, I actually use LastPass as a password manager. There's lots of good password managers out there as well. As far as identity theft goes, I don't think that like LifeLock, which maybe some of you guys have done, or those types of things, when you really actually look at LifeLock, they've gotten in trouble because they haven't really followed all the rules, and people have been hacked even using LifeLock. So doing these things on your own really can help you in a situation and not needing one of those outside services. So also enabling two-step verification on your email and financial accounts. So, you know, when I log into a lot of financial accounts, especially my bank account, then I get a text, some I get an email that I can put in. And that way you have that two-factor encryption. If you have that set up on your accounts, it's very difficult for, you know, someone to go in, because you actually need to be involved in the process of getting that code for logging in. And then when you're looking at Wi-Fi, when you're out, let's say you're at Panera Bread or somewhere and you want to go online, the public Wi-Fi, if you go on there, people can really hack in very easily to your computer and everything that's on your computer. Okay, so very easy to do. What you want to do is make sure you have secure Wi-Fi, and basically that way there is some encryption going on. You can use your phone as a hotspot. I actually have, you know, a separate hotspot. So if I go anywhere, and I really pretty much do 99% of all of my financial work on my computer at work, it's actually hooked directly into the router. And I have my computer guys that I'm always talking to and making sure that we're up to date. But you can also use something like this, or you can use your smartphone as a hotspot, or you can even download a virtual private network on your phone or your computer and go in through that. That'll encrypt everything. Okay, so very, very important to make sure that your privacy is maintained. Also making sure that your Wi-Fi at home is secure. So, you know, technology is getting updated constantly. And some people have old like WEP. If you have that type of encryption, it's very easy for people to hack into your router. So you want to make sure you have the most up-to-date encryption technologies, like I think it's WPA 1 or 2 in there. You also want to change your router's username and password as soon as you get it, because those are easy to hack as well if you haven't changed them to something that you know and like. Disable the WPS. WPS is where someone can actually get onto your secure network by using a very abbreviated password. And if you do that, it's, again, if the password's easy, it could be much easier to hack for outside folks. And then you also want to update your firmware. So update, you know, if it's old, there might be updates to that router and network, so that you can have it up to date and making sure that it's looking out for hackers and things like that too. So completing certain actions can help you achieve financial cyber omniscience and thwart fraud. Okay, so we talked about kind of making things, really kind of stopping hackers in their tracks with different information that you're updating. But one thing that I love, that I think my family does not love, is getting instant text or email alerts when anything gets charged, when money gets taken out of our bank, or everything gets charged. I get an email automatically. So I can tell if my kids are charging stuff. I can tell if my husband's charging stuff, which he doesn't like so much. Very hard for him to buy me gifts because I see kind of everything that goes on in our accounts. But a couple times, you know, there was stuff that was charged and I wasn't really sure what it was. And then we could just have a quick conversation to make sure that we didn't get hacked. So this is a really good thing to do. You can go right online, and usually the settings in your bank account, you'll be able to set it up so you would get texts or emails when anything did get charged to your bank account. One other thing that's good is if you're not looking to, you know, we unfroze to refinance our house and for other things, but it's really good to have your credit actually frozen, and only you can undo it. So no one can really set up credit in your name. As a matter of fact, it was about a year ago. I think things have gotten also amped up with COVID because everyone's at home. And so there are more hackers out there as well. But my husband someone tried to open up a credit card. I think it was at Macy's. It was a retailer that he never really would go to. And we got information that, you know, people are trying to open up accounts in his name. So what we did is automatically freeze his credit with the 3 different agencies. And then there's a PIN that you get. It's a very secret PIN. And of course he lost the PIN, and then we had to go and get it. They mail it to you. It's a very good process, but they will do that for free. And that way no one can use your name for anything to charge. Another thing is, if you have kids that are minors or grandkids, about 500,000 of them are victims of identity theft every single year. So it's also good to send in password, send in Social Security, go to the 3 agencies, let them know the Social Security number, and send this information in to see if anything has been done on minor kids. And then you want to freeze their credit, because they're not going to need it until maybe they buy a car or college loans or whatever it might be. So really good thing to freeze the credit. No one can kind of get to it when you do that. So we also want to just achieve a sense of mindfulness. Some of the things are a little bit of a pain, but an ounce of prevention can really help, because when you get caught with identity theft, it can be a laborious and crazy process for getting it resolved. So you just want to make sure that you're staying alert and having things kind of set up automatically without it being a ton of work. So the one thing is, and this is always tough, right? Because you do the software update and sometimes it takes, a half hour for your computer, but that really does help to close up some of those security gaps that they have. As a matter of fact, sometimes you'll see like your phone, you'll get a software update, and then one will come quickly to patch, because they've already found breach areas in that software. So you can auto update, which I do. You want to restart your computer at least once a week, I'd say, just to make sure that everything is getting updated, or more frequently if you can. And then, use antivirus software. So like McAfee, and there's a lot of others, AMG and others that are out there that can help to make sure that there aren't any attacks going on your computer, and to kind of thwart those attacks. Ransomware is a big thing too, where people take your files and then charge you money to get your own files back. So it is recommended that you back them up on your C drive, so on your computer directly. If you have an Apple, upload them into the iCloud, which is like, I think $1 a month or something, a couple dollars a month for storage. Dropbox. And then also you could have an outside physical device that just gets plugged into your computer, where that also backs stuff up. So you would never be extorted, and you always have access to your files, because you never know, what you need until it's gone. And also in those files could be personal information that could be tough if that got hacked as well. So you want to follow all these rules to hopefully just create a good firewalls around all of your information. So email, this is the one that is really tough. I remember, I think it was last fall, it was like 5 o'clock on a Friday, and I got a notification from Bank of America saying that something was wacky with my account. And it was really odd, because I hadn't been in the account that day specifically. So instead of clicking on the email that they sent, I actually called them. And generally, you're never going to get an email from like the IRS, Social Security, because there's a lot of those scams going on now too, or your bank, or any financial institution. And if you do, delete the email and call them and see if there's a problem. So a lot of times it'll be something like delivery delayed, or didn't get delivered, or reset something, but this catches a lot of people. So we just want to see, if you hover over who the email is from, it'll give you their email address. And then you just want to take a look and see, if it makes sense. So, dealing with money, there's a lot of clients that need money in and out of their accounts from time to time. And I remember, this was a while ago now, it might have been 4 or 5 years ago, when the Yahoo hack happened. I actually had a client, I got an email from her requesting money. And it wasn't, we know our clients really well. So, I called her and I said, hey, by the way, your email got hacked, because you could tell that the grammar wasn't right and things were odd, but that can happen. And every now and then, I know I get emails from friends and things, and they're really weird because someone hacked in and sending out all kinds of crazy information. So, just make sure you're watching that. This is in the White House. John Podesta got his emails leaked because he clicked on a Google link that he shouldn't have. It's happened to quite a few. There was also a gentleman, Holder, who was actually he was Obama's assistant, and basically his wife got an email from him supposedly asking for their Xfinity password and login and things. She sent it to them over online. It was a hacker. And then they ended up, it was a political hacker. So what happened is all the phone calls that were going to him actually went to like a Free Palestine group or something like that. So, this happens quite frequently, and you'll see this in there's a lot where someone clicked on an email they shouldn't have and things happen. So just want to protect yourself there as well. You can also inspect the link. So is it really Bank of America or not? You can hover over it and see, but make sure you don't click on it. Part 3 is just really taking action. So in the worksheet that you guys saw here, if you look up at the top, and if someone didn't get this, let me know. I tried to send it to everyone who's on the webinar, but you'll see these are the things that we kind of went through. So creating a secret email address for financial accounts, and these things really don't take a lot of time. So things that you don't have done, you may want to click a few off. I need to do the stuff for my kids, which I've been meaning to do and haven't. So that's really, really important. And we all have gaps of where we are. So just, make sure that you're going through and helping yourself so that you don't get subject to identity theft, because it's pretty scary and it can really hurt you going forward. There's also a book, and if anybody wants a copy of this book, just let me know. I have like 6 or 7 copies of it, but it just goes more in detail on everything that we just went over. So if you want, it talks about more like in depth with antivirus software and different things to do. So if anybody wants the book, just let me know and send an email and I'll get that out to you. And then we have some other upcoming webinars if you guys are interested. So May, doing a retirement income presentation, June, legacy planning, July, halftime report and family caregiving. And anybody who's in New Jersey, I might do that as a webinar and then also as an in-person meeting. All these webinars and anything that we do can all be found on the website. So they are recorded and I'll put them there. So if anybody wants to take a look at what we've done or what have you, you can see these here. Okay. Does anybody have any questions? If you have questions, just if you want to put them in the chat, that'd be awesome. And then we can, I can answer any questions that you guys have. I can also, or do the Q&A, either one. I'm going to set you guys up to talk too. So if anybody wants to talk, they can. All right, guys. So I don't think we have any questions. Actually, we have one in the chat. Let's see here. Yeah, the PowerPoint, I can send you the PowerPoint directly. I'll send everyone the PowerPoint. And then it'll also be in my compliance area has to just go through this. So once that's done in a couple of weeks, I'll actually send out the whole presentation as well, but I'll definitely forward the PowerPoint to you. Thank you, guys. Okay, I think we're good. So have a great day. If anybody needs anything, I'm here for you. So just let me know and we're happy to help. Okay, so thanks so much. And hopefully we'll see you at the next webinar. Have a great day. Thanks, Sheila.
Have a great day.
Thank you. Thanks, Margaret.
Thank you, guys. Thank you very much.
Thank you.